Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in once again. This is the Duval Dive. Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the stream of the game of Fans First Sports Network. There's all sorts of craziness. Here, Travis and I were preparing to prepare you for the Eagles game. Maybe have some conversations about all the injuries from Sunday with the Packers, where we had two active receivers on the roster and all that. Some generally, well, this is great things, and then into analysis. And oh, Nelly, that's when it all went down. Cam Robinson trade, another acquisition on the practice squad. Who knows what could even happen between now and Sunday? A whole lot of craziness. And when that kind of craziness happens, I need an adult. I need a champion. I need my personal champion, Travis D. Holmes. What's going on, my guy?
Bruh, y'all better sound the alarms. If I'm the adult in the room, we all dying.
It's that kind of situation, though. Come on now.
Let's go.
So, listen, first off, I mean, we'll get into the big headline here that we're jumping in here. I don't want to call it an emergency pod because we was going pod anyway. You know, we normally do Wednesdays at 7:30 here on the Duval Dive. That's not news, but, you know, we did a little something special because we saw this trade go down and we had to let you know. So, Travis, Cam Robinson trade, what say you?
Oh, my goodness. It's so shocking. We did not know this was going to happen other than everybody kind of knowing this was a thing, man. You knew it was going down, and you kind of had to assume it was going down just based on well, let's just start. We knew something was like this was going to happen because even Pete Prisco said it last week. Literally, as soon as the Minnesota Vikings lost Darrisaw, their starting left tackle for the season, it was kind of a known that the Jaguars would be a prime, a prime team to be on the phone with, at least to kind of figure it out. And the Jaguars already have a relationship with the Vikings because of the Brian Thomas Jr. trade. Like, that's how that happened.
Ezra Cleveland as well, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, that's right. Duh. So, so the fact that the Jaguars obviously have a great relationship with the Minnesota Vikings front office, and the Jaguars obviously were going to have to trade somebody between Walker Little and Cam Robinson. It just made total sense for a team that is in playoff contention like the Minnesota Vikings to reach out to Jacksonville, and it made total sense for the Jaguars to at least be listening to them.
Yeah, no, 100%. Christian Darrisaw, which, I mean, may his recovery be swift, but at the end of the day, yeah, I was even writing about the potential of trading Cam Robinson back over the summer. By that time, it would still been a Jaguars on SI piece. You know, his contract number was big. I think you and I even talking going back to August kind of said they're just going to write it out with Cam Robinson. The expectation would probably be that he would be, well, I wouldn't say replaced so much as not extended. How about that? You know,
fair. Fair, but I still feel like even if they would have done that, that would have just been bad roster management. Like, they got to get something for two expiring contracts at the same position. That just seemed weird to me if they would have just rolled it out. Like, the only way I could have saw that is they were in like legitimate playoff contention, and they were just like, it's just better to have both of those guys, Walker Little and Cam Robinson, just to make sure, because these guys are, well, Cam specifically has had his issues with injuries. I mean, year over year.
Correct.
So that would have been the reason.
We've had the conversation on this podcast many times, and I'll be the one to own the opinion that I did not like his extension back when it happened 2 years ago. I thought he was too prone, and not that he, air quotes, missed a lot of games, but I remember sitting through the Urban Meyer year. The two things I saw consistently, other than the crowd that constantly said, "Oh," is Cam Robinson marked as questionable, over the PA.
Yeah,
there in the Jacksonville Jaguar press box. So, and again, this isn't disrespect to him as a player, but I mean, listen, the best ability is availability, Travis D. Holmes, and
right.
Face it, that was a bit of a problem.
Well, that's facts. But this is an ongoing issue with the Jacksonville Jaguars makeup as it currently stands in any case. And we've talked about this for years. I mean, the Jaguars are very good at paying good players great money. And unfortunately, we have a lot of good players, and I want to make sure I say that these are good players. But you have good players and you're playing them like top of the line money, then well, there's got to be a conversation, especially when these are players who are injury prone. And I don't want to I'm not making that a thing. It's just unfortunately it kind of is what it is. Like I don't recall the last time he played a full 17 game season. So that's just got to be what it is. I mean, whether it's for suspension, whether it's for injuries, like you said, availability is the best ability, and he has not had it. And to be clear, neither has Walker Little just yet, but at least he's going to have his opportunity to show what he is made of going into a contract year for himself also.
Yeah, I know he emerged on the scene, what was it, 2 years ago now in that Cowboys game immortally where he held Micah Parsons in check. And what was probably your favorite victory going to to Everbank Stadium, perhaps in person,
right.
Maybe even still. I won't. Well, no, regular season wise, we don't need to talk about playoff games.
I understand.
It's crazy.
No, I got you. But also, and just updating folks for anyone who hasn't heard, the Minnesota Vikings traded the Jacksonville Jaguars for draft compensation. They traded for Cam Robinson to be their starting left tackle. As of the current updates, they traded for what was it, a 2026. 2026. No, it was 2026.
No,
2026 fifth round draft pick that can become a fourth round draft pick with playing time, qualifications basically. The reason that the Minnesota Vikings ended up trading their 2026 draft picks instead of a 2025 is because, well, they don't got it. The Minnesota Vikings, they ain't got it, bro. Like, you see these pockets? I ain't got it. And we all knew the Minnesota Vikings, Minnesota was a prime landing spot for Cam Robinson or potential landing spot for him. But again, the Minnesota Vikings have 3 draft picks currently in the 2025 draft because we have their 2025 third rounder and their 2025 fourth rounder due to the BTJ trade. So we already got it. So they're kind of limited on what they could offer. So the fact that the Jaguars did get a fourth round draft pick, essentially, as long as, Cam doesn't, get injured and hits those playing time qualifiers, I think folks should be happy about that, especially on a guy who has an expiring contract, which the Jaguars were not going to re-up. So right. I don't want to say great job, Balky, but at the same time, I'll give a man credit and say you did what you were supposed to do, and you got probably the best that you were going to get for that, even if it is the 2026 draft pick.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, getting something already from, and I don't know if there was any other elements to. This we were talking about this before going on air. This kind of smelled of the James Robinson situation where you predicted that trade before it happened there. And when Travis Etienne got his first 100-yard game also as well, right. Before they traded it to James Robinson with the New York Jets. I would say you could read about the story somewhere, but the editors didn't get the story out. Yeah, I'm still a little bitter, but that's okay. I didn't identify the outlet. It's all right. But the punchline is this: Travis still predicted it. Saying all that to say, does this mean Walker Little starting that Packers game should have been an indicator to us?
Oh, absolutely. As soon as he started, I was like, "That's a wrap." I said it in the press box at the time. It's a wrap. That was it. That's all the indication I need. As soon as the trade confirmation went down, 10 minutes before this pod started. That's why I just sent the tweet. Still got it. Like, I knew he was gonna get traded, and then the fact that you hear the rumors of the fact that Cam was arguing with the coaching staff. I'm not going to say which ones, but arguing with the coaching staff because he was very angry about how he was advised, that he wouldn't be starting that week. He's obviously trying to fight his way through the concussion protocol and thinking he maybe had a chance, but he finds out earlier in the week that he's not going to be starting, even if he does clear the concussion protocol. And then you have the whole issue, with how he's acting before the game. You can kind of tell, folks even in the press box, we were all talking about it. Like, look at Cam. Like, have you seen him do anything? Is he even standing with the team? Like, at that point, like, he was already pissed. So, like, you kind of knew it. A lot like that James Robinson situation. You knew something was up. You just got to figure out how long it goes. Like, I even told the guys over at Big Cat Country, hey, man, Cam's gone. Like, I don't know how long it's going to take, but he's absolutely gone. And it just, hey, we didn't hit a week later yet. So
I'm sure there'll be a story sooner than later by Travis T. Holmes. If you're listening to this, or watching it or you're listening to it on the pod, you'll certainly know to go check bigcatcountry.com. And there'll be something out there. I can guarantee you of it. By the way, I don't know which of the coaches might have had beef, but I won't press you on that issue. I don't know if it was him either. I just had to make the pun. Let's take it easy there.
No, it was a double pun because you said beef talking about O-line play. I'm here for it. I got you.
See, listen, I dug myself into a bit of a hole. No, I'm making jokes.
Too much.
I'm not saying who it is.
Oh man, but it's so awesome. But it's so awesome because you made the great point that I didn't even think about. I mean, again, we've only had like 5 to not even like 10 minutes to kind of just chew on this. But you made the point that the fact that we're going to be playing against this Joker in 10 days.
Well, technically, that was before we aired, so you're making the point. So good on you, Travis Holmes. That's a great point. They'll be playing his old team here in the Jaguars with wearing purple.
Yes. It's going to be so awesome. You got Ezra Cleveland playing against the team that traded him for what was it? Dalton, the other guard that they have now, and you have Cam Robinson, who's going to be playing against the Jaguars, who traded him away to Minnesota. You're going to have a lot of hurt feelings on them O-lines, bro. This is going to be fun. It's going to be chippy, but this is going to be interesting. Like, if the Jaguars don't have enough motivation, maybe that will do it. Like, maybe we're 2-7 at that time, and who cares? But at the end of the day, maybe there might be a little extra chippiness to get that W, or at minimum, get some hits in. I don't know. It's going to be fun.
Man, you and I played in a contact flag league together where I got traded and played my old team, and the stuff I did to them was amazing. I can't imagine what happens on the NFL level. Okay.
Oh man, this is gonna be good, dude. But but again, this was bound to happen. We kind of knew it would happen. It's still great to see that this organization can make good football moves, intelligent football moves, because that's not always the case. Again, we've always thought that certain things should happen and certain players should be playing there, and then it takes this organization 7 weeks to make the move that seemed pretty obvious in training camp. So I do want to at least acknowledge the fact that they traded a guy who we know should have been traded. They did the bare minimum. They walked and chewed gum.
Well, good job there. Sure they got something on the way out. They took advantage of a team in a more desperate situation. I know normally the question asked is, who won the trade? I don't think that's the right question here because the Vikings are entering into it in kind of a lacking a better word, desperate state. But I mean, for those that may not quite feel it, be like, only for a 6th round, or no, a 2026 5th round pick. How can you call that a win? What do you think?
Yeah, 5th, maybe a 4th playing time qualifier. Like the fact that there's a playing time qualifier for a player who has shown himself to be injury prone, or at least kind of injury prone, that makes it.
That's good protection by the Vikings.
Yeah, that's good protection by the Vikings. So you're talking about a 2026 5th if he gets injured. Who cares about a 2026 5th? I hope we all alive, man. I hope the asteroids don't come in the alien, like whatever. Like, man, 2026.
That's nice of Trent Baalke to do the favor for the GM that's about to replace. Wishful thinking. Sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, either way, it'll be fine. But I think that's so. In that way, I think the Vikings win because they're trying to go all in on a playoff roster, which they believe that they have, and I think that the evidence is on the film shows that they are.
Roster, Travis, I think they're trying to push for at least an NFC championship out this humpy bumpy, don't you?
I mean, we can all pray.
We
can all dream. I'm gonna be on in the NFL draft next year. Who knows, bro? Like but realistically,
right next to Leon Castle, it's gonna be Travis.
Thank you.
Sherlock Holmes or something.
Thank you. Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying though. Like, I mean, whatever. I don't. If they want to claim that they're better than the playoff team, then sure. But I'm just saying they're a playoff roster trying to put this thing together because they got 3 series in that last game that were just horrendous by their O-line as soon as Darisaw went out, and I'm like, okay, yeah, they trading for somebody.
Let me ask this question from the Vikings perspective. They got to face the Lions again and potentially a 3rd time. I know there's no Aiden Hutchinson, but that you got to think that factors into the scenario, yeah.
I mean, sure, and even if it's not just them, it's the fact that even if it's not the Lions, you know what? Now that I think about it, I'll go with you on that. Because even when they faced the Lions without Hutchinson, they still gave a solid amount of pressures because the Lions actually did something different. They blitzed a lot, which they historically hadn't blitzed that much all season. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that way, that actually still does make sense. It made Detroit be different, losing Hutchinson, but it also exposed some issues for Detroit, for Minnesota, that they absolutely have to do something. So this was something they did. I was happy to know that it had something to do with the Jaguars. And Pete Prisco, shout out, you called this thing like minutes after the injury happened. And that's exactly how it went down. Makes total sense for everybody. Nobody really lost, but I do believe everybody won. And I definitely think Minnesota did very well for a team that's trying to actually protect their quarterback.
Yeah, and that's the point I kind of wanted you to make. I felt like this was as even as trades go. Like a lot of people will mark that perhaps the best even trade made in the NFL is Clinton Port is for Hakeem Talib. Now, I don't know if that still holds true, but at the time, that's what a lot of people were saying. And both of them got pretty good gain out of it. Maybe that could be an off-season episode we talk about on the Student of the Game at some point where we have that conversation. But what I'm getting to is I felt like both teams got what they needed out of it. Who wins, we won't really know until technically 2026, or if Balky is using that pick to jockey something in the upcoming draft. Don't rule that out,
Right. But, and let's keep it a buck. Who cares who wins? And I say this because it's a 2026 draft pick. Like even if it's even if the Jaguars quote unquote win by Cam Robinson, I don't know, getting injured or getting beat by the next guard or whatever, or by the next tackle or whatever, and it's only a 2026 fifth round draft pick. Yeah. Do we feel good about that? Do we feel great about that? Like 2026 fifth rounder.
That's why I made the point I made that you got to remember with Balky, it's not a 2026 pick, it's currency. Right? Don't rule out him making a move with that ish coming up, bro. You can't.
Yeah, that's gonna be something used to help us move up and get something else. Maybe it's gonna be part of a package. But like, so the fifth in and of itself isn't moving the needle. A fourth, that might be something. But like, but that's if he plays well and everything else, and we'll see what that looks like. Because again, it doesn't change what's happening in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
Cam is not helping us make the playoffs, so it ain't a loss. It can't be a loss in that way.
Before we transition to the Eagles and start previewing that game, Hacker of 1010XL, shouts to Ryan, tweeted something that I think you're better equipped to answer than I am. Okay. And I don't know if I'm prepared to agree with it, but he says two statements can be true. I'm paraphrasing. Okay. That Cam Robinson is a Mount Rushmore Jags. I don't remember if he said tackle or O lineman. And that's also a sad statement. I don't know that I'm prepared to capitulate that. Are you?
Wow. I mean, Mount Rushmore? So we're saying he's a top 4 tackle. Sorry. Wow. I mean, we haven't had like an insane amount of great, I should say, tackles. I mean, obviously you got Baselli, and I'm trying to remember who was the best tackles after Baselli. I'm kind of, I would need some time to think on that one, bro. I don't know, like, like you got Cersei, you got Baselli, and that's what I got. I don't really have that's so maybe that he's right to say that that's sad
history either. But yeah, to Hacker's point, if true, kind of sad. I got to give shouts to Dinesh. Something cool here. Vikings here. I'm fully on board with the who cares who wins this trade question. I'm with you too. But somebody out there is going to ask it, Dinesh, and we try to serve everybody here as best we can with good analysis, man. That's what we do. So,
oh man. So yeah, I don't have a good answer there, bro. That's just not what it's going to be. But I mean, I guess to Dinesh's question.
Well, the next question he has, I'm hoping you could say some nice things about Cam's play. May I take the ball on this one first?
Absolutely, Mr. O-Lineman.
Dinesh, it's not so much that his play is bad. He's a good, serviceable starter. I would feel about as excited if I was a Vikings fan as I was seeing I'm not a true member of the Duval Devout, but if I were a member of the Duval Devout seeing Ezra Cleveland arrive, I would feel about as good with one distinct difference. Ezra Cleveland represented a true upgrade. Cam Robinson represents a backfill, right? So that situation's a bit different, but does he have enough to fill the gap for a team that could go somewhere? I feel like Chiefs fans should have asked this of Jawan Taylor a couple of years back, but I get that same kind of vibe. Will he be a Pro Bowl caliber tackle for your team? No, but is he enough to fill a gap if your line is awesome everywhere else? Yeah, I think he is. You could do a lot worse. Now, that's if he stays on the field, Dinesh. You may find yourselves in a situation where you're just as desperate losing a guy to an injury again. So fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's solid. Like, I mean, he's not going to help you as much in the run game. Uh, and so it depends on what you're looking for him for. Like, he's adequate. Like, I'm not. I don't want to demean the man. Like, I don't want to say he's bad. I don't want to say he's great because I don't think either one of those is fair.
He's slightly above average. I would definitely give him. He's an NFL starter reliably. I think at this point
he's a reliable NFL starter. I think I can get down with that. Okay, cool. I can go with that. But that's also he's a reliable NFL starter in a Jaguar system that is historically top of the NFL, top 5 in the NFL in time to throw. So if you're going to put him in a Minnesota Vikings normal, we'll call it, NFL offense, instead of being around 2.4 seconds to throw, maybe you're closer to around 2.5 or 2.6. You're going to start giving up a lot more sacks. And that's the conversation that's got to be had. Like, it depends on what you're using him for. And I don't know enough about what the Vikings want to do as far as their passing game is concerned. But I do know that they want to run the ball on early downs. Sure. So with that being said, Jaguars kind of would like Walker Little to be their starting tackle instead of Cam Robinson, if that's the case, because frankly, Walker Little's a better run blocker than Cam Robinson. I don't think that's even arguable.
We've said that. We've said that on this pod for a time. Dinesh, quick shout out to you one more time. Pro Bowl level tackles are rarely available at this time of year. You know what's rarely available? Vikings fans listening to a Jaguar podcast. Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you for being a smart guy too. While you're at it, Lawrence T jumps in. Jags are helping T-Law with this move. Question.
Ooh.
I think they're helping Tank Bigsby based on what I heard from you there, brother. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I think we're gonna see, but at the end of the day, Cam Robinson was great at helping the Jaguars play in the way that Trevor Lawrence would probably prefer that they play. Mm-hmm. So that sounds like a great thing. However, you just lost Christian Kirk.
Yes.
You aren't even going to be able to play the majority of the 3 receiver sets that you initially wanted to play. I mean, you might not have Gabe Davis or Brian Thomas, depending on what happens with this week's practice, their injuries and such.
Let's assume BT.
But my point,
yeah, go ahead.
Right, but to wrap this thing up, my overall point is, you're going to be running more 12 personnel. You're going to be running more 13 personnel. You're going to be running under center so much more in this situation anyways, which means that leans towards a Tank Bigsby offense. So you're saying, hey, is that helping Trevor? I'm saying, is that helping Tank? Because you're going to be running the ball more.
I don't mean to interrupt your wishful thinking, but you're acting like Parker Washington doesn't exist. I think, now, granted,
not at all.
I am not saying Christian Kirk is worse than Parker Washington at all. Yeah. But I think that's enough of a backfield where if they wanted to run 3 wide receiver sets, they could. By the way, Lawrence sees all of it. I could go. He's feeling you.
No, right. So I'm not saying that Parker Washington is such a downgrade, but the overall point is we've known forever that this is who Doug wanted to be. Doug wanted to be the under center guy who's going to establish the run game and make this thing look more like an actual balanced offense. He didn't want to be this shotgun offense that we've been historically in Jacksonville whenever we've been successful under Trevor Lawrence, because that's who Trevor wants to be. Mm-hmm. This is who Doug wants to be. Now you have a situation where you can get rid of one of your better passing down tackles, and you can put in a better, potentially an upgrade in run blocking, which can then establish the run, which is exactly what your coach wants to do. That just, to me,
shorts, you don't need protection quite as long, quite as bad, which falls right back into Walker Little's situation in the first place. This could solve itself. You make a good point.
Right. Like, and that's exactly, I mean, we saw them at least give Tank Bigsby the 18 carries that they gave him last week. Like, the fact of the matter is, I think this could work out just fine. And whether or not it helps Trevor long term, this ain't a long-term move. Walker Little's not going to be on the roster next year. You're going to probably have a different GM. You're going to probably have a different coach. But for this year, you can at least see what you have in Walker Little. And who knows, if you have a different GM come in, maybe he can sell Walker on extending, staying in the house, now that we've seen on tape a full half of a season, in addition to the 2022 season when we also have some tape of you. We can figure out who you are, maybe get you on this short-term contract, keep you in-house, everybody's happy, or worst case scenario, we know who you are. Let's get out the paint and we can get somebody else in the draft or in free agency next year. I don't think this is a bad situation for anyone. I think we all can look at that as a win in that way.
Travis, it's time to talk about some Eagles, bro.
Oh man, let's do it.
Yeah, great talk on the stuff. Thanks to Lawrence and Dinesh and the other commenters in the building. I don't know what to make of this Eagles team. I don't have any faith in them. Okay. They snuck past the Browns. I know that the Jaguars were about to sneak past the Browns, but I think that says more about the Eagles than it does the Jags. Let's be clear. All I hear about is the unrest involving Nick Sirianni. And I get it that they lit up a Cincinnati Bengal team last week. What was it? 31-17 in quite a fashion. But I'm willing to capitulate also that the Bengals might be a defense that's worse than the Jags at this juncture. Reasons varying, of course, but I don't trust this Jaguar team. The thing is, I know you don't trust your Jaguars that make you drink. They're a member of the Duval Devout. So it leaves me at an impasse. What do you say?
I trust them. I trust them more than I trust Jacksonville. Like, so your problem as it currently stands is you don't trust the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that's a fair way of looking at them, at least at this point. However, you may not trust the Philadelphia Eagles. I do not trust the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's a major line in the sand, if that makes any difference to you. So this is still a team that just beat the brakes off the Cincinnati Bengals. This is the team that beat the brakes off the New York Giants. And they snuck past the Cleveland Browns.
I mean, what does that say? I don't know, man.
I was just saying, but they snuck past the Browns. Cool. Well, we lost to the Browns, and that should have been a hand-me-down game, and we looked horrendous on offense against that team. Well, so we are talking about a team
with that. Yeah, that's a whole.
We talked about it in great detail, but I think like they struggled a few weeks earlier in the season. And they seem to have hit their stride when they got a little bit healthier. Like, we have a team. So if I just look at, how I do. I look at every game week by week. I look at matchup by matchup. You have a team that is top 5 on defense in both stopping the run. Top 10 on stopping the run and stopping the pass against Jaguars offense that has been, pretty much middle of the pack. Okay, that's interesting. And then you have an Eagles offense that is top 2 in running the ball against the Jaguars defense that just gave up 75 yards on literally one drive on the ground just last week. I got questions. I got problems with trying to quantify who's going to man on man go up against AJ Brown. You're not going to have Tyson Campbell follow him all across the field. Like, we know that's not how they're going to do it. They're probably not going to have him follow him wherever he goes. So he's going to have his opportunities. You have an actual good tight end, and I'm not saying Kraft for Green Bay is not a good tight end, but you get my point though. Like, an actual good tight end, and we've already established week by week, if you want to win your fantasy league, you play whatever tight end is playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, because they're going to have a great day. Like, I have all the reasons not to believe in this Jacksonville Jaguars team, and all the reasons to believe that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to come in and just do what they do at home. Like, I would need someone to argue for me why the Jaguars would deserve my faith in that way.
Well, and let's be clear. What was it? The Marvin, the commenter said, you know what you're talking about. The Eagles have more talent. I don't think anybody's going to argue, especially with the injuries that just took place for the Jags, that the Eagles have more talent. Yeah, I don't think anybody's arguing that. Where I'm at is that talent still has to be gotten the football. And the statement he makes is the thing I'm more scared of. Saquon will have a field day. Here's the thing, Travis. You know how I know that? We done seen it. When he was,
I'm less concerned about Saquon having a field day on the ground, and more concerned about if that man catches 5 screen passes, one of them going for a touchdown, like five balls out of the flats. Like, that's really my biggest concern is if you get Saquon in an open field as explosive as he is, I got problems.
So,
And
first of all, this person, Lawrence, you need a hug. The Jags are not playing as bad as FSU.
bad as
Let me be
FSU.
clear.
I don't know, bro. It's close. It's
They're
close.
hear me out. They're not FSU bad. They're UCF bad. Anyways. I mean, just throwing it out there. But
man, the Jacksonville Jaguars have to show me that they can put together a good full football game, because I was literally in an argument with one of my guys earlier today who basically told me, hey man, the Jaguars defense played well that first quarter, and I'm like, yeah, and the offense played well for the last 2.5 quarters. What the hell they got to do with the price of tea in China? Like, if you can't play a whole game, then you are failing. Like, anybody who's ever had a girlfriend, or if you're a woman, if you've had a boyfriend, hey, you know the drill. If they ask for 30 minutes of quality time and you give them 10, you failed the assignment, man. You failed the assignment. These are the rules. I didn't make them up. So you give me a good quarter and you tap out. We got problems, because obviously the deed was not done. So that's exactly how I'm feeling with the Jacksonville Jaguars team right now. As it currently stands, they are not a good football team unless you can put it together for 4 full quarters, and you frankly have not done it this season.
Lawrence he says he needs a hug. His teams are hurting him. Well, first of all, I got you, but I got to tell you, you ain't even no unique boat this year in football, period. Good Lord, some hearts broken this year. But Marvin also makes the point, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown going to get 100 each. The only reason
calm down.
is because they're going to run the ball way too much once they get a lead.
We now we doing a little too much. That man said 100 yards each. Now you're getting a little obscene out in these streets, bro. Come on, calm down.
What the Jags a successful game for the Jags looks like this, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, Marvin. Take it easy, okay? Successful game for the Jags looks like this. For one, Tank Bigsby has to have a 100-yard game. I don't think it's close. Okay, they have to have Tank Bigsby with at least 100. Two, they cannot fumble the ball on their own damn 5-yard line and hand them points like they did to the Packers. I think that's safe to say. Then three, they would need Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen probably to have both season high games, pressures, and attacking.
Thank you for pointing that out. I fully forgot about Mr. Trayvon, who was 1 sack away from becoming second place in Jaguars franchise history for the most sacks in your first 3 years with the franchise. Shout out to him. But also, that's another concern that I didn't even express earlier. A rushing quarterback. One more thing. A rushing quarterback.
Eric Armstead can't be rotated in and out, which already automatically means the Jaguar is failing. Yeah, and the point you make about, listen, when it comes to the running quarterback with Jalen, that's what hurts.
Yes, with Jalen, that's what hurts. But, bro, another running quarterback for a team that struggles, like, literally worse than the league at stopping quarterbacks who can run the ball, which unfortunately this is kind of what happens when you have spread offenses infiltrating the NFL. Most of the damn quarterbacks are going to know how to run the ball, so that means you're going to have an issue with most of the running quarterbacks in the NFL, Mr. Ryan Nielsen.
When you're looking at the upcoming game, I think Jalen Hurts stands out amongst quarterbacks who do run. Let me be clear. I'm not saying any of that. And what was it? The point that Marvin, who's stopping it, guys? Marvin. It's not that they're going to stop Smith and Brown. Trust me, I like both those receivers. I'm telling you, they just ain't going to throw it enough. Once they get that big lead, if that happens, they're going to run the ball. That's what it is.
I'm weirdly less worried. I'm more worried about your tight end. You tell me your first string and your second string tight end names, and I'm gonna put them above both AJ Brown and Devontae. Like, that's really where I'm at. Like, you show me your tight ends, and I'll show you somebody who's gonna win their fantasy league that week. Like, that's where I stand. Ooh, I like Bigsby, and in our media we want to trade for Trayvon. I mean, everybody want to trade for Trayvon, but nobody like any good GM is not going to get a number 1 draft pick. Have this guy get like 10 sacks in whatever it was, 11 games, and then talking about trading him. But whatever reason, that started going across the rumor mill in NFL media, and it was just nonsense. They're not trading Trayvon.
Marvin, what we're trying to tell you is that's not unique talk to Philly. That's other places too.
Right.
Trayvon Walker's a hot item, and I know you want.
We want to trade for AJ Brown. That's basically the equivalent. That's the equivalent.
It's ridiculous, though. Obviously, it's not going to happen. But Listen, that was fun, guys. Let's get into it. It's that time, Travis. Tell the people.
Already.
What's your opinion?
Lord.
What do you got? Who you got? What's going on?
I mean, all right, cool. Jaguars gonna lose. How bad? Let's say, let's say I'm gonna say it's very similar to last week. We're gonna put this bad boy at like 34-24. I think the Jaguars actually can score some late touchdowns though, because I don't think our offense is our issue. And I don't know that we won't turn the ball over like we've turned the ball over last week.
I'm impressed with you. That's way more optimistic than only 10 points. I thought you would have them in that kind of Cincinnati Bengals track, which you technically do.
No, I'm not. But I'm not going to be emotional about this. I really feel like I'm trying to be real and fair about it, while still calling what it is. Because this Eagles defense, while good, is not the Green Bay defense that they just faced, who was mad opportunistic, but also leaky in a lot of ways. So it's different.
For me, I feel like with both teams attempting to run the football, the over isn't the bet on this one. I feel like they're probably going to have a similar score, but not quite the same total points. I'm going to go 27-17. No, I'm not going to get that bold. I was about to say 27-20, but I think Cam Little misses his first kick, but I'm not going to go there. That doesn't feel right.
Wow, man, you feeling? You just trying to dig that knife into the hip of Duval County. Like, how bad can this thing get? We're gonna lose against it. We're gonna lose against our old kicker.
Did I fumble the ball on the Jaguars 5? No, I did not. You know what I did, Travis? I said 24, and you asked me what form of grass I was smoking last week.
Nah, you said Cam Little is going to miss his first kick, and I'm feeling offended right now after just losing the game against our old kicker that got our team sued.
I took it back. I said I'm not going to go that far. I just had one dark thought I shouldn't have shared. Just like Anthony Richardson shouldn't have said he was tired that play. It's the
right,
same.
Man. Don't you wish that evil on me, Ricky Bobby? Like, nah, bro. No. If we gonna lose, let us lose in decency. Let us still have the clothes on and not be out here butt naked in these streets, bro. No. We gonna lose and lose by 10, and that's fine. And we'll take our top 5 draft pick and call it a day.
I think Marvin's wording it nicely. Jacksonville plays good against Philly, but lately Jags are terrible.
We appreciate you, Marvin, and you're not wrong. It's no different than the Buffalo Bills. That's exactly what Jags fans said that whole week. Is Jaguars always play great against Buffalo? We always play great against Buffalo. Them boys beat the mile up. They beat the brakes off this team. It was not good.
I wasn't going to take it there, but remember what happened?
Facts.
Remember what happened last time they played the Eagles good? They still lost anyway. That's all there is to it. Anyway, Travis, tell the world where you can be found, guy.
You can find all my writings covering the Jacksonville Jaguars, BigCatCountry.com. Please follow me on the socials, Travis D. Holmes. And if you hear my voice, man, please like and subscribe to Duval Dive on YouTube. Duval Dive on YouTube. That's the best way you can support us and help us grow this bad boy, man. And again, follow me on all the socials. Check out Big Cat Country. We'll have our post game write up. Have all the trades write ups already on the site. That's for the most part pretty much it. I probably believe I'll be on Jaguars United this Friday. Also, we'll be doing some all 22 breakdown and talking for freaking 2 hours about everything in life. Like, I don't know, your mama. Everybody might be. Just come in the comments. We'll have a conversation there too. Also, what about you, sir?
It took my mama 8 years to like the Student of the Game Facebook page. She's not trying to talk sports with me. Anyway,
that don't mean we ain't talking about it on there.
But that's fair. That being said, listen, big shouts to the comments tonight. Excellent stuff from all you guys contributing, even from people outside the Jacksonville fan base. That's what I'm talking about. Vikings fans jumping in, Eagles fans coming in. Marvin, shouts to you. Listen, as Eagle banter goes, I'm all about it. Good stuff. But listen, of course, I am Kyle Nash, the Student of the Game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at VSOTG. Find me on Facebook as a Student of the Game. Check out my writings with Fans First Sports Network. I am in season something crazy right now, Travis. For Fans First Sports Network, I'm writing the Jags. You want some NBA? I'm writing the Magic too. You want some college? I'm writing UCF football and basketball. It's precisely bedlam. So make sure you look out for all and any of that, not to mention, of course, normally the Duval Dive is on 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. So make sure you check that out. And hey, listen, those you Eagle fans and Vikings fans still in the chat, immediately after either of those games, depending on the Sunday, you'll have the instant reaction from me, Kyle Nash, the student of the game, and Travis D. Holmes of Big Cat Country. And if it's at Everbank Stadium, he will be live from the spot. This dude always finds a way to find a perch and let us know what it is. It's a great time all the way around. And who wins? America. And you should be part of America. If you're not part of the world could win. If you check in from a foreign destination, it's the internet. Am I right? But for everybody in comments, thank you very much. For Travis D. Holmes, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. And until next time, everyone, class dismissed.